National Football League.
On the first Sunday night of 2026, game 272 of the 2025 NFL season brings us under the bright lights, lighting up one of the greatest rivalries in sports. It's the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers, the winner claiming the AFC North and a home playoff game next week in the wild card. Good to have you guys back for more sim football this week, ending it off with a banger as Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson duke it out for the second time this season. Pittsburgh with a huge road win in Baltimore earlier on this year to get to this point, but falling down the stretch. A loss to the Browns last week sees them set up with a win or go home game here at home, with all the terrible towels waving. Probably two of the baddest bloods in football to end off the 2025 season. Winner of this is probably hosting the Houston Texans if they can pull through with a victory next week, although that is still to be determined. Boswell gets us underway, and here we go for the final game of the 2025 season. Ravens to begin on offense with a return out to the 27-yard line, and Lamar Jackson back in action. Tyler Huntley got the huge must-needed win last week on the road against the Green Bay Packers to get them to this point, and with some help from the Cleveland Browns, it is a winner-takes-all scenario. Welcome, everybody. Joining me, Dodo, Xavier, JP, John Zeller, Silver Knight, Will Hutton, everybody else joining me throughout. Glad to have you guys here with me for the last regular season stream game of the 2025 sim season. Loaded backfield to begin the offensive set for Derrick Henry up the middle, who had a 4-touchdown performance last week. And John Harbaugh going to want to rely on him a little bit more if he plans to keep his job in 2026. I have not changed any of my rosters yet, Xavier. I didn't really get a chance to look through. But might use that for the playoffs. We'll see. As Lamar Jackson back to it. From the gun on 2nd and 9. Quick fire across the middle. It's caught to Rashad Bateman. And he is about a foot short on the second down reception. Patrick Queen, the long-time Raven there with the tackle. Setting up the opening third down. What up, Skull Viking fan? What up, SM? As the terrible towels out and waving. It is going to be all eyes on this game at 8:20 on Sunday. I formation here for Lamar Jackson with a quarterback sneak up the middle despite the injured ribs. Does not surrender his position, and it's an opening drive first down for the Ravens. Keep their drive moving forward. This team has been dealing with injuries all season long, specifically to Lamar Jackson, who has not had the greatest of years in terms of health, although not his worst, which does speak volumes to how well this team takes care of him. As Jackson goes left side, it's caught by Bateman again. Catch number 2 for the Minnesota Golden Gopher. That's a big catch and run there. What up, Dodo? Need Bryce Young to lock in tomorrow. I hope he does, man. I will be hopping off of a plane right around when that game starts, so looking forward to watching that. Should be a pretty good one. As Jackson now on 2nd and 4, hands off to Henry, delayed handoff, and he is going to lose half a yard there. Jalen Ramsey with a nice tackle right around the 44-yard line, and it brings up the second third down of this game. Going to get a poll out for you guys here real quick as to who you think is going to win it. I think overtime is on the horizon in this game in terms of actuality, although in Madden, probably favoring Baltimore given their roster. Pittsburgh rushing 4 as the pass goes up top, caught by Zay Flowers, and he hangs on this time to the 50-yard line. Drive again continues for the Baltimore Ravens. Well, Pittsburgh has had a very, very up and down season, as one might imagine. Aaron Rodgers has been doing a pretty good job, but the Steelers can't seem to stay to their own way. T.J. Watt been dealing with injuries. DK Metcalf getting suspended. A lot of people feel like if he did not throw a punch at a fan, Pittsburgh could have already clinched the AFC North. As there goes Henry running through a couple of Pittsburgh Steelers, and he'll pick up 12. It's what he does best, taking 3 and 4 guys to bring him down, and that is why he put up almost 50 fantasy points last week. What up, Eagle? Ravens 31-28 in overtime. I'd be okay with that. I think this game will be a lot more low scoring. I'm going 13-10 Pittsburgh in overtime in real life. We'll see what happens, though. DeAndre Hopkins, the lone receiver on the bottom of your screen. Quick RPO pass goes left side to Zay Flowers as he falls down there after a 5-yard pickup, taking the Tyler Lockett route to safety. Metcalf was a victim of Arthur Smith this season. Yeah, much like Kyle Pitts used to be. Somebody has to do it. It's funny how he went from not giving tight ends any love whatsoever to only giving tight ends love with Darnell Washington, Jonnu Smith, and Pat Freiermuth. Handoff up the middle. It's Henry again. He's got great blocking. And when that man gets going downhill, hard to bring him down in the open field. It's a 10-yard pickup and another Raven first down. Just taking a gander at the AFC playoff picture. Obviously, the loser of this has no chance of making the postseason. But things could get interesting in terms of who the winner of this game might end up playing, and we'll go through scenarios here in a moment. As Jackson back to work through the air, caught by Bateman, breaks the tackle. Rashad Bateman inside the 10-yard line, sets up a first and goal. 3 catches early on here in the halfway point of the first quarter. Coming up here right around the corner. But the Texans, Chargers, and Bills all have clinched the playoffs, but are all 11-5. A Houston win this week against the eliminated Colts will give them the 5 seed, and a road contest against either one of these two teams, the victor between these two, is Mark Andrews wide open for the touchdown. What a drive from Lamar Jackson, and a huge play on the road. Lamar is not a very great quarterback against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Doesn't really play well in his division at all. Like, maybe the exception there is the Bengals, but even still, doesn't tend to have the greatest of games in the AFC North, but a huge opening drive statement as Lamar Jackson finds the end zone. Don't think anybody wants to see the Ravens in the postseason, whereas I would be hugely concerned with Pittsburgh, sadly. I think it kind of goes both ways. I don't think I'd be too concerned with the Ravens, as Tyler Loop's point after is up and good. I think Baltimore forgets they have Derrick Henry too often, and not only that, but their defense is really not impressed that much. They've been better after Jackson went down. They've kind of had to be to get to this point, but I just don't think either one of these two teams are in a position to have a good year. I know some people think the Ravens are going to make a run, to the Super Bowl or something. I think if they get out of the wild card, believe it or not, I think they have a good chance against the Broncos or Patriots. They almost beat New England, probably should have a couple weeks ago, and I really do believe if they play their cards correctly, they will give themselves a shot. But we'll see what happens there as the Steelers getting ready to return out to the 28-yard line. There's Caleb Johnson, the rookie, who has had some special teams miscues this season, specifically in that game against Seattle, as Aaron Rodgers back to work in week number 18. The oldest quarterback left in the NFL. I guess him and Joe Flacco still might be recovering from the icy hot bowl. I think Flacco actually is getting the nod. I'm actually not sure. Him and Burrow, I think, might play a half each in Week 18 against the Browns. That is a game to watch, though, for history, as Garrett needs one more sack to break the single-season record as Rodgers slinging it to a sideline and getting that one out there and complete opening play, gain of around 18. And again, a reminder that Rodgers is going to have to play this game with no DK Metcalf. Again, 2-game suspension. That really hurt their team a lot more than maybe he expected to. But it did happen. What up, Arturo? Rodgers with a blitz coming, fires it downfield again. It's secured. Another catch for another first down. These Pittsburgh wide receivers were certainly tested last week in their 13-6 loss. Marquez Valdez-Scantling probably had more targets last week than all year long combined, especially at the goal line there. Some question marks as to what Pittsburgh was doing inside the 10. Handoff goes to Kenneth Gainwell. Really great tool threat ability. Makes a man miss in the open field. Kenneth Gainwell pulling free, and he's gone to the end zone. No doubt at the 1. It would have been a 42-yard touchdown, but Kenneth Gainwell emerging as a top 5 PPR running back in the month of December. And I guess when you use the guy right, you might as well take advantage. But Pittsburgh going to get down to the half-yard line, and Jalen Warren, the running back, in the I formation, with Connor Hayward, the fullback, in there as well, blocking for Warren, and he's down at the half-yard line. No gain of the play there. Hole filled up quickly by this Raven defense. Yeah, I really don't know what DK was doing, man. I don't think anything warrants punching a fan. You always have to have the wherewithal to just walk away at the end of the day. Two tight ends set again here. How about a fullback dive to Connor Hayward? And he's got the opening Steeler touchdown for, I believe, the third time this season. He's always a fun wild card to throw out there for your first touchdown. Connor Hayward, the Michigan State legend, into the end zone. And the Steelers respond very quickly. Kenneth Gainwell, Eagle legend, true. I feel like Philadelphia has had a lot of running backs that they were decent in Philly, but they really had success either before or after they got there or left. It just seems to be the way that it is. Here is Chris Boswell on for the point after. Botch snap right there, but it's placed down by Presley Harvin and recovered. A salvaged PAT is up and good. I'm having some really laggy issues with these post-drive animations. That's unfortunate. Regardless, though, all squared away at 7. Boswell has missed field goals in back-to-back weeks for the first time in, I think, a long time. I haven't actually looked into that statistic to figure out the legitimate timeline of that. But I can't imagine that he misses in back-to-back weeks very often at all. So it's unfortunate there for him. But always tough to kick in Cleveland on the lakefront. Not for much longer, though. Browns will be moving here in a couple years to a translucent roof. Looking forward to that in Brook Park, Ohio, as the return out to the 23-yard line by Keaton Mitchell. Back onto the field comes Lamar Jackson in a 7-7 ball game. Taking a look at our live poll, 7 votes are in, 86% are on the Baltimore Ravens. Drake May sucks, lost to Geno Smith in week 1. I mean, I don't know if you could really give that a litmus test. Very deceiving early weeks of the NFL. He has gotten tenfold better, though, as the year has progressed. Right side pitch going to Derrick Henry. Got a couple of blockers, and he's taken down for a 3-yard loss on the play. Peyton Wilson, the NC State Wolfpack linebacker. This is his second year in the NFL, I believe, as he makes a nice play there. The third-day draft pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers, as they look to blitz with T.J. Watt back in the lineup. Good to have him back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Missed the last couple of weeks with an injury, as he's double-teamed here, giving Lamar Jackson time to fire. Right back to his tight end, Mark Andrews, his second catch. Will pick up 5, and the horns are blared again from Acrisure. It is a brisk, cool evening in the low 20s with clear skies in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Steelers in the all-black with the yellow pants. Ravens in the white with the purple pants. As Jackson on 3rd and 8. Double team on Watt again. Lamar going to loft one wide open. DeAndre Hopkins as the veteran breaks free in the open field across the 50. It's a Raven first down. That is another third down conversion. Finding it quite easy to move that football right now. I will not be doing the Raiders-Chiefs game. I leave tomorrow for Florida, so this is it until the divisional round. As Lamar Jackson sets Isaiah Likely in motion. Play action off of Henry. Steps and fires again. Open is Andrews down the sideline. Breaks the tackle, and Mark Andrews inside the 10. And he's tackled at the 5 with an injury to the offensive line of Baltimore. That'll stop the clock with 1:08. Not to take away from the incredible heroics right now of Mark Andrews, who was on his way to a 100-yard game with the opening drive touchdown as well. Yeah, only games we did this week were the relevant ones, with all due respect, ones that have playoff implications. So, what up, A-Rod? The cheese on top or sauce on top? Well, I guess that depends where you're from. I'm from a normal place, so I would say cheese on top. But I know certain people would find that distasteful. Jumbo package here with plenty of big bodies out there for Lamar Jackson. And taking himself, bouncing to the outside, taken down by PQ. He knows all about these plays that Lamar Jackson runs. And it is virtually a middle gain of about 1.5 yards there to the 3. Looked like it was stuffed, then looked like it was a touchdown. Ends up a rather neutral play as Jackson and the Raven offense back to the drawing board here. Quick RPO right side, had Andrews for a second touchdown, and he fired that one a little bit too far outside. Do not like Detroit, apparently not. I didn't know. Couldn't remember if that was Chicago or Detroit style pizza. I don't know. Not familiar with my city pizzas. 3rd and goal again from the 3-yard line. It's Jackson setting Andrews in motion, pointing out defenders. Pittsburgh looking to send pressure, and they will. Jackson, quick fire to the end zone off the back of a defender, and it winds up an incompletion. Big stop there from Pittsburgh as the clock stops with 34, and we'll see what John Harbaugh decides to do with a lead-taking field goal on the table. But the possibility of going for it certainly is up there. He will play conservatively and out to bring on Tyler Loop for a 20-yard chip shot. Good snap, good hold, good kick. And the Ravens reinstate their lead, this time by 3. 10-7 Baltimore with 32 seconds to go in the opening quarter. Is that pronounced Pizzole? Pizzole? Hard to tell. Could be a number of things. You can't necessarily blame me for not liking Detroit-style pizza. I mean, I'm from the middle of Ohio, for goodness sake. We don't have a lot of food here. We have a lot of corn, that's for sure. It's about all we're known for. That and a team up by the lake with a limited football success. Here are two prestigious franchises, though, in the same division going at it for the AFC North crown, a division the Browns have, quite frankly, never won. 1989 AFC Central champions. Honest to goodness, I don't think there's a price out there that would keep me from buying Browns playoff tickets if we were to host a home playoff game. I think I'd drop $1,000 to watch that happen. I legitimately would. Oh well, we could keep that hypothetical for now and probably the next couple of years as the Browns look to build toward their new stadium in Brook Park. Enough about the Browns, though. Here are the Steelers back to work with a Jalen Warren toss out to the right side, and this is how he gets going with a 10-yard pickup on 1st down, which will take us right around and probably to the end of the 1st quarter. Offense is the name of the game tonight. In game 272 of 272, it is the Ravens 10, the Steelers 7 at the end of one here in Acrisure. And they will take us to the 2nd quarter, flipping sides of the field on Sunday Night Football. Still in love with all these individual primetime game scoreboards. Great feature added by EA Sports. I have been well pleased. What up, Trey? Rodgers back to work, kicking off quarter number 2. Against the 5-man rush, going to hand off to Warren. Got through the first level, but was slowed down there by a linebacker and taken down from behind by Roquan Smith. He has had a rather quieter year in comparison to last season. A huge part of why the Ravens were the number 3 seed last year, got the wild card win against Pittsburgh, and were a catch away from potentially heading to the AFC title game in back-to-back years as Rodgers goes outside and winds up firing an incompletion. Looking for Pat Freiermuth, it looked like there, on the outside cut. Going to have to rely a lot more on these tight ends than his wide receivers. I would just imagine if George Pickens stuck around in Pittsburgh, what the team would look like. It really would make you wonder, as he had a terrific year with Dallas. Still 1 week to go, should say. Could have an even better year as Calvin Austin on 3rd and 6, wide open, converts. And a 1st down catch to the 46-yard line. Yeah, honest to goodness, I am kind of disappointed they got rid of George Pickens. I mean, I enjoyed watching him play in the AFC North. He's had a couple of incredible catches against the Browns in his short tenure with the Steelers. Very entertaining couple of years watching him play, but I wish the Browns had drafted him back when they had the chance to in the 2nd round. They passed up on him, though. Unfortunately, although it all might work out in the end, as Warren tries to break it outside and is flipped heels overhead as he's taken down by Travis Jones for a loss of a yard. Steelers receiver core is hard to watch without Metcalf. It really is. He really brings that wide receiver core up. It is rough. Pretty much the entire AFC North, with the exception, I think, of the Bengals, is rough. Rodgers on 2nd and 11 from the empty. Going to fire left side. Complete to Calvin Austin again. He'll pick up 10 and a yard short of the 1st. With the clock ticking again. Last stream for, I don't know, a week and a half maybe. We'll see what happens. Going to try to do, I think, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday sounds probably about right for the divisional round stream in 2 weeks. As Rodgers going to take a quarterback sneak, doesn't do that very often. Usually stands in the backfield with hands on his hips as Connor Hayward gets the nod more often than not, but I guess try to fool the Ravens and pull a Lamar Jackson there with the first down quarterback sneak. I'm also looking forward to putting together my playoff brackets. Should be entertaining. Rodgers on 1st and 10, handoff to Warren. Tries to stay patient, and he pays no dividends there with a 2-yard pickup up to the 34-yard line. Hire Kubiak as head coach. I actually wouldn't mind that. That would be a good little pickup there for the Raiders. But yeah, Mendoza is a guarantee. You guys haven't had the first overall pick in a long time, like a very long time. Jamarcus Russell probably. As the handoff goes to Walker. Or Gainwell, I should say. Thinking of Kenneth Walker. It's Kenneth Gainwell who will pick up 2 on 2nd down and 8. Joe Flacco read option play of the year. Honestly, it's up there. I really hope it makes the NFL top 100 plays. That deserves its own video. Neither team able to get a 3rd down stop outside of the red zone. Can the Ravens be the first? Rodgers lofting one downfield. It's caught by Freiermuth. Perfect ball placement from the 40-year-old veteran. Picks out his tight end. And it's 1st and goal for Pittsburgh. Pressure coming off the edge there. Did not have very much more time to find the open man, but he does so regardless. It's a huge conversion. And the Steelers looking to take their first lead with Warren in the single back. Play action for Rodgers. Scoots out to find Freiermuth again, who dives for the end zone and the touchdown. It is the Muth Madness drive as Pittsburgh takes their first lead. Something about Aaron Rodgers and his big, bulky tight ends, Pat Freiermuth, unregarded for in the flat. And he strolls in for 6. Who remembers Jordy Nelson? One of my favorite Packers of all time. Can't decide if I want the Packers the 3rd time or one of the West Coast teams. I would be very scared if I had to play the Packers if I were the Bears, you know what I mean? But again, I'd also be terrified to have to play one of those West Coast teams. Another really rough snap there as the extra point is up and good. Pittsburgh's been having issues with the snap the last couple of weeks, so that is nothing really new for them. Well, Danny Smith got to get his boys together on that special teams. Going to be Rams-Eagles in the playoffs. That'd be a really good rematch. That first game of the year back in week 3 was electric. So, and those two teams have really gone in, I wouldn't say polar opposite directions. The Rams have kind of been struggling here the last couple of weeks, but I would say they're in better shape than the Eagles, even though Philly won last week. I think that was more of Buffalo losing. As the Ravens back to work with their first deficit of the ball game out to the 26-yard line. What up, Nick Minomi? As we head toward 6 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Slow and a lingering game thus far. Don't forget to get your votes in on the live poll right now. The Ravens sold the vast majority at 80% of the vote. As the Ravens have actually outgained the Steelers, just couldn't punch it in on their previous drive. So back to work goes Lamar Jackson, who will take the snap at a quarterback read option. And he'll take it up the middle, absorbing the hit there. Through his sole ribs, he'll pick up 8. Probably won't expect him to take a lot of quarterback runs, although last year, in the playoffs in particular, Pittsburgh could not stop the backfield of the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to go back and look how many rushing yards they had that game. Ravens versus Steelers playoffs. I'm very curious how that one ended up. As Jackson fakes the toss and hands off to Henry, and 4 different Steelers were all over that one. Brandon Echols, Jalen Ramsey, TJ Watt, and there was one other in the mix there. All got into the backfield and knew exactly what was coming. I think PQ might have been the other one. It was a party in the Raven backfield. Loss of 4 on the play, and it sets up another crucial 3rd down for Jackson. Late blitzer coming. Cam Hayward with the pressure, and he forces the incompletion. The longtime Pittsburgh Steeler, probably near the brink of retirement, and even still having one of the best years of his career with a huge pressure and forces the incompletion and a Raven 3 and out. As the punt coming up here for Jordan Stout, he is going to boot this one away. And a very nice kick inside the 25 as Calvin Austin taken out at the 29-yard line. Yeah, the Ravens last year had 299 rushing yards to the Steelers' 29. That is unbelievable. Hard to really imagine, but that's how good Derrick Henry can be when you actually use him in the postseason. What up, Flash Gordon? Don't really love or hate either team, so I picked the tie. Good for you. Good choice. I am pulling for the Ravens in this one. I have much more of a distaste towards Pittsburgh than I do for Baltimore. Neither team should make any noise, though, let's be real, but I'll take my preference now as Gainwell up the middle again, breaks free for another 10-plus yard carry. Feels like every time this guy touches the football, he is good for 15 yards, and that carry is no exception. Fresh set of downs again here for Pittsburgh. Spell a turnover. We have only had, what, 2 in 2 games? Both of them coming at the hands of Sam Darnold. 5 wide here for Rodgers. He loves this formation, and that's an incompletion. Roquan Smith all over it that time. Pass was intended for Adam Thielen, I believe that was down the middle there. And it winds up a jar on the floor. When A-Rod says you don't, you must really, really not. Rodgers doesn't tend to throw a lot of picks, though. We'll see if he stays disciplined here. Behind the sticks on a 2nd and 10. Screen pass is caught by Jaylen Warren, flying up the sideline, and that is why you stay poised and conservative. Let your big guys get out in front and block for your running back, Jaylen Warren, with a nice catch and run there. Very quiet last week after a huge week against the Lions where he broke 2 45-yard rushing touchdowns and their 29-24 chaotic win against the Detroit Lions. Rodgers again from the empty, trying to pick out the open man on 1st and 10. Pressure coming, and the screen pass was blown up, incomplete. Looking for Calvin Austin there, kind of ran too close to Rodgers, wasn't expecting to have to loft that football, but it did happen though. What up, Chili? Shout out to Adam Thielen, great take. Vikings legend, Panthers legend too. Rodgers now on 2nd and 10. Blitzer coming off the opposite side. Ball pops up in the air, and it could have been a free interception. That is how big of a hit Roquan Smith just delivered. Back-to-back incompletions in 3 of the last 4 for Rodgers, leading his receivers into some trouble. Right around Boswell range, but on 3rd and 10, Ravens just trying to make sure they don't get the line to gain. Rodgers has different ideas, staying poised, dancing around the pocket, firing downfield, caught out in space, hits Roman Wilson, the second-year receiver down to the 5-yard line. Aaron Rodgers does it better than anybody else with enough time in the pocket. And there is your once-a-game catch by Roman Wilson, going for 38 yards, and it's 1st and goal for Pittsburgh. That was terrific blocking. Not something Rodgers is necessarily accustomed to, especially last week with all the attention they had to give to Myles Garrett. Rodgers didn't have a lot of time to throw the football. This week might be a different story. 1st and goal again. Handoff goes to Warren. Puts his foot in the ground. Breaks one tackle off of Kyle Hamilton. But he ends up losing a yard. Kyle Van Noy on cleanup crew. Keeps our clock ticking under 3 minutes. Yeah, very weak pass rush there from Baltimore. And a good job with a little schematic route from Roman Wilson to eventually break open Warren and Gainwell both in the backfield here on 2nd and goal. Rodgers steps up, thought about taking off, probably should have, as he is sacked. Taken down at the 10-yard line as the big fellas finally collapse on Rodgers. That is the game's opening sack, pushing Pittsburgh 10 yards away from a touchdown. That was nearly a touchdown. I didn't even see him call it. Minnesota Vikings, a legend. What up, Nathan Manko? Winner-take-all on Sunday night. Nothing better than a winner-take-all type of game. Game 7. This is essentially the NFL version of a Game 7, if you will. 10.5 yards to the end zone. Rodgers trying to fight off a blitz. Fires it. It's dropped incomplete right through the hands of, I believe, Jonnu Smith. And I'll have to take a second look at that one. It was Van Jefferson who dropped that one incomplete. And so Boswell back on this time for a field goal as the 27-yarder is up and good. Pittsburgh ahead by 7 into the 2-minute drill we go from Acrisure Stadium. This being the last game of the season, not Seahawks Niners. That's all I have to say. I think this game, I share a different opinion. I'm a part of maybe the minority that thinks this game deserves to be Sunday Night Football. Winning you're in type of scenario for one, but the history of Ravens and Steelers is just too rich to not take the opportunity to throw this game on prime time again. As the Ravens will get their return out to the 25-yard line. Welcome back, Dodo. And Keaton Mitchell goes down with injury there as one of the Steelers special teammen celebrating a little distastefully, maybe not aware. Let's say the Niners play back-to-back Sunday night. Yeah, it's also a possibility. We'll see. I just think the history, it's too good to pass up, and so the NFL did a good job selecting that game, in my humble opinion. 4-man rush, how about 5 coming delayed there, as Mark Andrews will take that one for around 3 yards. And keep the time ticking along here. Pittsburgh gets the second half kickoff in a game we expected a lot of defense. Offense has been the name of the game early on. Aaron Rodgers tearing up the team's defenses here. As Lamar Jackson on 2nd and 7 again finds DeAndre Hopkins turning back the clock with that spin move. And the Ravens take their first time out trying to slow things down here. Damian, welcome back. Seahawks Niners for the number 1 seed's more intriguing than Steelers Ravens. I would agree that there's, a better end result at stake, but I think there being more risk with a loss is really what makes this game better for me. Terrible towels being waved all across Acrisure as that pass down the middle, caught by Bateman, broke a couple of tackles, and now he's sandwiched between Cole Holcomb and TJ Watt after a 6-yard pickup right around the 50-yard line. Now the Bears finally did it. Yeah, it took Uncle Rogers moving on, but in all honesty, the Bears were just never that good of a team up until he ended up leaving. Pure coincidence, I think. Into the final minute now of the second quarter. Jackson going up top, and it's incomplete. Not a bad ball from Lamar, but reasonable defense. Joey Porter Jr. having his best season of his career, and he, honest to goodness, might be cornerback 1 in the AFC North this season. He has come a long way from all of his defensive pass interference penalties and holding calls. Having a very nice year with the black and gold. 3rd and 4 again. Huge play here for Lamar Jackson, who thought about taking off, tried to jump it off, incomplete to Rashad Bateman as he drops that one through the Cole Holcomb hit. And the Ravens will likely punt this one away. NFC West Division is also on the line. That is true. But the loser of that game still has a seat in the postseason. Jordan Stout going to punt us away again. Under 50 seconds left, and this is some of his best work. Angling out of bounds. Took a bad hop out of the back of the end zone for the touchback. Rodgers back to work with 44 seconds and all 3 timeouts. We'll see what Mike Tomlin has dialed up here. Him and Arthur Smith for this Steeler offense. Taking another peek at the poll. 15 votes are in. 67% on the Baltimore Ravens. Don't forget to get your votes in now if you haven't yet already. Also, a reminder to hit the like button, as this will be our last stream for about 10 or so days. Rodgers on 1st and 10, trying to make something out of the time they have been given. They'll dump it off to Calvin Austin, and immediately Mike Tomlin will come out with a timeout. The first taken by Pittsburgh. No faith in the coaching staff on Sunday. That's reasonable. I think Ravens and Steelers fans kind of share that thought, in all honesty. That's not a bad take at all. Aaron Rodgers again. Loving these empty pockets. It is a 3-man rush. Rodgers steps up, fires across the middle. It's hauled in. And a completion to the 40-yard line. And that looked to be Adam Thielen. As Pittsburgh will hesitate and then take their second timeout with 31 seconds to go. Hopefully the clock management is not as bad as it was back in August. That was really, really rough for us, if you guys do remember. Not our best work. I say ours is if I have any implication of what EA Sports produces. But it was probably some of the worst it's been in all of Madden history. Here goes Rodgers, though, in the final 30 seconds of the half, and he's sacked again. Travis Jones up the middle for his second sack, and a loss of 6. Timeout taken by the Ravens. They might want the football back now. Actually, no, they did not take a timeout. Clock had stopped there, and now the Steelers will take one. Okay. Interesting. Thought for sure Baltimore had stopped the clock, wanting the football back with a chance to maybe kick a field goal. Tyler Loop has had his ups and downs this season. He is more accurate from long than he is short, I believe. That might just be an eye test thing. But we'll see. Are you a Panthers fan, Dodo? I know we have a lot of NFC South fans, actually. You would be surprised here. As Rodgers back to it. On 2nd and 16, steps up and fires out of bounds. Incomplete. Now the door is open for the Ravens to get the ball back if they want to. We'll see. Jetsy and J Love in the same backfield will be fire if we fall to 2 and Mendoza picks at 1. You think? Oh, Julian Love. Yeah. I was like, Jordan Love, what? Surely the Packers wouldn't give him up, but yeah, that would be pretty cool. 3rd and 16. Handoff goes to Warren. Bouncing it outside. Breaks one tackle. Trying to find the line to gain. And he will not get there. Neither team reaching for a timeout. And that is going to take us to halftime. It is the Pittsburgh Steelers with a touchdown lead at the break, getting the football to begin half number 2 as well as we fast forward to the second half. I bet Jeremiah Love. Not sure why I said Julian Love there. Wonder which conference is most represented in the MSG world? That is a great question. I unironically do think that the NFC South is up there. I think the NFC North might have it won, though. If I had to really break it down and think about it. NFC North, NFC South, probably my top 2. AFC North might be my least, which is intriguing because I myself, obviously, am a fan of a team out of that division. Pittsburgh gets their return out to the 26-yard line. Uncle Rodgers back to work. I honestly think watching him play football this year, he's probably got at least another year in him. I truly don't think he'll end up retiring this year. Unless Pittsburgh makes a magical run to win it all, he might reconsider. But the way it stands right now, I don't see Rodgers retiring. At the end of this season, Roquan Smith trying to retire Jalen Warren, though, early on in his career. What a hit from 0. And I say it probably once a month. Can you imagine the Bears right now if they still had Roquan Smith? I mean, it was part of the plan to get some draft picks in their front office, but even still, would have been a huge retainment there for their defense, says Calvin Austin again. Down the middle, picks up 5. 3 of the 4 NFC West teams are legit. The funniest part was we thought all 4 would be, actually. The Cardinals started the season out 2-0. Don't forget that. Granted, they didn't play very good teams, but it happened. At the time, I should say, the Saints have woken up. Rodgers on 3rd and 3. Steps up, looking to take off, and he's sacked again. Number 3 for Travis Jones. It is a 3rd quarter hat trick for a big number 98. Well, the defensive tackles have been eating well the last couple of games. Can't forget Vita Vea. Had 2.5 sacks on 3 plays. And the Buccaneers' domination over Carolina back on Tuesday night. Yeah, Colts were very disappointing. Danny Dimes going down, ended their year. Imagine telling a Colts fan that in the preseason. Pittsburgh going to punt it away, their first of the day, with a fair catch called for at the 31-yard line. Going to be smash mouth, good old-fashioned football. Both teams to trash talk back and forth. Proper AFC North football. That is the way it should be. Jaguars should win the South? I think so at this point. They should lock that up. I guess they're also a possibility. I failed to mention to also have the number 5 seed in some weird way. They could also, by the way, get the number 1 seed if the Patriots and Broncos fail to win this week. As the handoff goes to Henry, looking to find some open room. And he'll plunge forward to pick up 6. Roquan was so unhappy in Chicago. I'm not sure if that would have ever worked out. Yeah, it is true. Hard to not be, unhappy in Chicago given their entire circumstance. Khalil Mack too. Good pull there. That's a good point. Not a bad shout at all. As the handoff up the middle again goes to Henry. This time limited to just 2 yards. Taken down at the 39-yard line. Moving on from Old Man Rodgers, really, I think that's been the issue with Pittsburgh since Big Ben retired. They don't really go all in on a quarterback. They just have a quarterback there for a year, and they really can't build their offense around a type of scheme like that, in my opinion. Right side pitch goes to Henry, looking for a seal-off block, and there goes 22, flying down the sideline, shedding tackles inside the 30. He is a freight train and a half, and the Pittsburgh defense has no answers on 3rd and 2. Rodgers and Kelsey will retire next year. I think Kelsey will. I don't think Rodgers will, though. We'll see. Talked about Kelsey last night, actually, in the Niners' 24-17 victory. Here goes Lamar off the play action. Hit as he fires, but drops it in there. And it's touchdown number 2 for 89. Mark Andrews hit that break perfectly, but what a pass from Lamar Jackson. Far from 100%, and he paid the price there. Keanu Benton right up the middle, and that is a big fella to take a hit from. Ravens are a point after away from a tie game. Kershaw did retire. Yeah, you know what's awesome? I'm really happy that he had a significant part in the Dodgers World Series win, though. Always one of my favorite pitchers. Got ourselves a game. Yeah, it is unfair that Derrick Henry is that fast. No doubt. Loop is on for the point after. Seen a lot of rough snaps here in this game. That is not one of them, though. As the point after up and good. And for the second time tonight, we are tied. This time at 17. 7:03 to go in the 3rd quarter. We have got 16 people in here. Don't forget to like up the stream if you have not yet already, and subscribe if you are new. Had a whole lot of love on the previous live stream, peaked at 61 concurrent viewers, and also have had a lot of success post live stream after the pod was published. That one getting a whole lot of love. One of my favorite times of the year to stream it, just for that kind of reason. Everybody always all in on these big time games. Return out to the 25-yard line, and Rodgers will take back over in a tie ball game. Server that says, I refuse to believe Derrick Henry is just 250 pounds. Got to be pushing 260 or 265 like Jared Verse. Yeah, I would probably agree with that. They got to, give that man rubber pads or something. Because, or foam pads, I should say. Rubber would make it even harder for him to tackle, or for the defenders to tackle him. But, yeah, he hits pretty hard. I have a really bad feeling if you're a defender. As Warren gets the outside toss, and he's got some room breaking ankles and picking up 12. Marlon Humphrey, who is questionable heading into Week 18, does make the tackle there. Cody Bellinger reunion, I'm not going to throw out that possibility. Certainly could happen. Tom Brady called Josh Allen 250-pound big witty quarterback last week. Yeah, check, and check. There you have it. Rodgers on 1st and 10. Screen pass to Gainwell. They do this quite often, but not to that level of success. It's a loss of 5, and that could be a drive killer for the Pittsburgh offense. Really rough play design there. Good play design, just poor execution. Can't fault Arthur Smith for it all necessarily. Still a crucial play here in the middle of the 3rd quarter. Rodgers thought about firing this one outside, and something was off of speed there. Miscommunication on a screen pass, or somebody forgot their block, because Rodgers was looking one way and one way only. And that one-way road was clogged by that Baltimore secondary. 3rd and a mile here, 15 yards to the line to gain. 3 receiver, 1 side and set. Rodgers steps up, hit as he throws a wobbler to the sideline. Nobody within 20 yards, and it's another Pittsburgh Steeler 3 and out. Raven defense getting a lot better. Squad available to trade. I actually thought he would be gone last year before the deadline. We were a little bit nervous there in Cleveland, but glad to have him stay. He's a very solid guy. I hope he does stay in Cleveland. High snap there for Harvin, and the punt is not even going to get off. The Ravens special teams coming up huge, and special teams errors continue. No chance on the punts for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Wow. That is insane. Corliss Waitman, I'm not sure why I keep saying Presley Harvin. It's Corliss Waitman who is punting here today for Pittsburgh. And that has been brewing for a couple of extra points now. Can the Ravens take advantage of a 20-yard football field, trying to take back their first lead since it was 10-7? Zay Flowers picks up a yard. That ball easily could have flown over his head, too. That is the craziest part. Snow in Buffalo on Sunday. That's exciting. 2 blocked field goals, one was returned for a touchdown. I can't wait for that to happen. We've had a blocked kick before. Never returned for a touchdown, though. Maybe next year, we'll see. Andrews is in motion. Lamar Jackson barking out orders. Henry with a block and an open man. It's Bateman. Sets up first and goal. 10-yard pickup for the Golden Gopher. As Lamar Jackson trying to exercise his demons and win a very meaningful game against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the regular season. I formation with the dangerous one, Derrick Henry, in the backfield. Play action again. Jackson checks it down. Caught by Ricard. Lit up by PQ. And his spin tackle lays out the fullback at the 3-yard line. Zay is not hurt, no. He might have, actually. Can't rule that out. He's had a couple of targets and a couple of catches. But if you're talking about IRL, I don't think he is either. Henry to the left side of Jackson. Isaiah Likely in motion. Read option taken. Lamar loses the football, and the Pittsburgh red zone defense comes up big once again. It's Cam Hayward on the recovery, and a huge hit at the 2-yard line, delivered by Jalen Ramsey. Steelers keep it tied. What a hit. And Lamar Jackson must have forgotten about his sore ribs that time. Henry should be the only option if you're Lamar. What a turn of events the last couple of drives have produced. Pittsburgh taking over from their own 5. 4:08 to go in the third quarter. This is an absolutely classic AFC North football game. I'm glad Madden knows these divisions well, because it felt like the NFC South and West were represented pretty well. Can the North feel the same? Rodgers from his own end zone fires it outside. Dangerous and incomplete. Swatted away there, with the intended target being Jalen Warren. Got to watch out for any holding penalties in the end zone, too. We might be due for like a, any type of penalty in the end zone that could result in a safety. That'd be most entertaining. We'll see what happens, though. Looks like that is Warren standing in the all-yellow end zone. And he will get a handoff up the middle. Roquan Smith fills the gap, and it's a loss of 1 for Warren. It's Kyle Hamilton, the safety, flying up the A-gap to make a huge tackle. Pick 6 would be nuts. Japanese pitchers might be the way to go in the future, man. They throw some insane pitches. Rodgers again from the empty on 3rd and 11. Got to be careful. Steps and fires. Caught by Van Jefferson. Can he get there? Denied by a yard. He shed the opening tackle on Nate Wiggins. Kyle Hamilton, though, does a very nice job of keeping this a tie game and the football heading back toward Baltimore. See if Pittsburgh can get off a clean snap this time. Safety could be an issue here as Waitman with a very, very awkward-looking reception on the snap. Looked like he caught it with one hand. I almost thought he was going to fake it. But he gets it away. Fair catch called for at the 43-yard line. Yeah, I don't remember what his name is either off the top of my head. Sent a van when they needed a bus. Jerome Bettis reference. There we go. Nowhere because the O-line is garbage. Yeah, they've seen better years, haven't they? Patrick Ricard back in at fullback. Henry going to block for Jackson. Now acts as a receiver. High ball located by Mark Andrews right across the 50-yard line. Tackle made there by Peyton Wilson and Jalen Ramsey. 7-yard gain. And now time's starting to become a little bit of a factor here, depending on if the Ravens can actually produce points on this drive, like they should have on the previous. At Pittsburgh, a red zone defense, though, takes another prisoner. Handoff goes to Henry, and he is fighting to pick up 2. What up, Money Mac? Wonder who gets fired, Harbs or Tomlin? I wonder, actually. Let me just ask you guys straight up. Do you think the loser of this game, do you think the losing head coach gets fired? I think it really depends. I think if the Ravens lose, Harbaugh does. If the Steelers lose, I don't think Tomlin does. We'll see. 3rd down and a very long yard at the 48-yard line. Pinpole right side, hand off to Henry. Sheds a tackle, and Henry picks up the 1st down. Peyton Wilson from behind, absolutely no match for the stiff arm of Mark Andrews. What up, Miss Sunday? Both should be fired. I mean, I don't disagree. I think the AFC North might be due for a factory reset. All 4 coaches could potentially be fired. Jackson going to take another quarterback keeper, try to hang on to the football. This time does so successfully. They'll scamper for 5 into Tyler Loop range and into the final minute of the 3rd quarter. Late Christmas gift. There you go. Very nice. Got myself a Shadur Sanders jersey for Christmas. How about that? 2nd and 5, handoff up the middle. It's Henry again, trying to limbo underneath defenders, that it's really tough to get that low when you have that kind of stature. Winds up a 2-yard gain, and it is 3rd down and 3. Steelers will never fire Tomlin. I fear that you might be right. Stuck with him until he dies, probably. Jackson again, trying to become the field general. 4-man rush, steps and fires, complete to Andrews. He has been the guardian angel on 3rd down to this one as he gets near the out-of-bounds line at the 26. And that should take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. All tied up heading into the final 10 minutes. Would you really want it any other way? Ravens 17, Steelers 17. Division title on the line. The loser heads home. Sunday Night Football under the bright lights of Acrisure Stadium. Happy to get Muncie back. He is always clutch. And the S-word 11 for the Steelers. Oh, that is him. I don't know why I said Van Jefferson earlier. All the Steelers wide receivers are like the same to me. You know what I mean? 4th quarter is underway. And Henry gets the carry just outside the 30. Stays upright. Henry running over defenders as he puts a man in the grave on the way to the 20-yard line. Nothing more entertaining than watching Madden Derrick Henry in his X Factor. How do you stop a freight train? Thanos Gaming's been trying to do it for years in GTA. And the Steelers have also been trying to figure it out here in the AFC North for a couple of seasons. Handoff to Henry again, tries to bounce outside, breaks 1 tackle, running over a big boy. Holy cow, Derrick Henry cannot be stopped. He'll pick up 2. Kyle Brand just jumped off his couch, good for him. And he goes down with injury. Did the Steelers find a way? The wear and tear catches up to Derrick Henry. And that's a huge loss in the 4th quarter. Wow. Well, the dark magic of Mike Tomlin seems to have struck again. When you can't stop him, you find extraterrestrial ways to make sure it'll happen. And so Keaton Mitchell in on 3rd and 2. Jackson fires a quick one. It's dropped by Mark Andrews, just like the divisional round, right through his hands. Incomplete. 4th and 2. Decision time for John Harbaugh. This is the kind of play where he might lose his job if he makes the wrong choice, and that is the safe option Tyler loop on again. 35-yard attempt from the right hash. Kick is up, and it is good. The Ravens lead again on the road in Pittsburgh. It is going to come down to that Raven defense with 9:15 left in regulation. This is certainly an overtime possible game. I really think it can happen. We'll see. But here we go. Aaron Rodgers looking for another vintage drive in his illustrious career. Some of the greatest MVP seasons in NFL history. One of few to ever have multiple primes and back-to-back MVPs, as the return there for Kelton Johnson out across the 30-yard line. And here comes the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. What a Mad Max Bear jersey. That's pretty fire. That is pretty sick. And so, 9 minutes and 11 seconds left. Here we go. Going to close this live poll pretty soon with 18 votes in. Everybody all over the Ravens in this one. Can they keep their lead with a handoff to Gainwell? Slowed down and still upright. Barely gets back near the line to gain a loss of a yard. But Roquan Smith almost had another huge hit to add to his catalog in Week 18. Loving his time here in Baltimore. Made the postseason last year. And with a win here today, obviously, in complete control of their own destiny. Rodgers at the 20, or the 30-yard line, I should say, going to pump and fire a completion to Pat Freiermuth, 4-yard pickup there. And that'll set him up for a more manageable 3rd and 7. This is a pretty significant play, even if the Steelers don't convert, though. No more Derrick Henry, we believe, for at least a little bit. Try to work out one of his lower legs. And that could be huge for time-chewing purposes. Rodgers, though, trying to have a different plan. Well protected again, steps and fires, it's caught. Leaping grab is made. Terrific readjustment. And a first down with a gain of 10 when 7 yards were needed. That's pretty significant. So Pittsburgh will continue with the first down catch there. Adam Thielen coming up big. I think Indiana's going to win it all. What a crazy week of the college football playoff quarterfinals, by the way. I'm all for it, though. Good for the sport. As Warren going the wrong way again, swarmed by the flock of Ravens. Marlon Humphrey, the first one there. I'm also a big Kurt Cignetti fan. Can't go wrong with Indiana football right now. Truly an awesome thing to watch. 2nd and 12. 1-on-1 up top. Will Rodgers look that way? Dancing, steps, fires across the middle, double coverage. It is incomplete. Adam Thielen was the target. Ravens playing very nice secondary defense there, despite minimal pass rush coming from their front four. DK probably did cost Pittsburgh the postseason, depending on if they can get the win, obviously, in Week 18. Rodgers again going to step and fire a wobbler, but it finds Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I have no idea how he managed that one. Something about Aaron Rodgers. Even his passes with low accuracy find the open man, and that is his longtime teammate in Green Bay who pulls that one down. 6.5 to go. Rodgers standing tall, lofting this one down the field, drops it in there inside the 5. MVS again. Somehow Roquan Smith ended up on the wide receiver, and 11's going to win that race 7 days a week. 1st and goal for Pittsburgh late in the contest. That's a great pass. Indiana's what happens when you pick the worst team in NCAA and try to rebuild them. That is true. I mean, yeah. Man. It's really, really good. For the Big Ten, too. Can't rule that out either. First it's set, handoff to Warren, sheds a tackle, fighting forward, and he rolls over on the tackle. Picks up a yard, almost had the touchdown. Very, very close there. Second down and about 2. Goal to go scenario. Field goal ties it. Touchdown. Gives them the go-ahead lead. Rodgers again. Back to pass, quick fire, caught by Warren. Got a block, can he break away? No, he cannot. He will lose 2. Nate Wiggins, the Clemson quarterback. And so into the bottom half of the fourth quarter we go with a massive 3rd and goal on the way. This is huge. Can't emphasize it enough. Adam Thielen one-on-one up top. Bunch formation left. Rodgers going to go up top on the slant. And Thielen with the touchdown reinstates the Pittsburgh lead late in the fourth quarter. Adam Thielen with a huge 3rd down catch earlier. And Rodgers with Roquan Smith running directly at him untouched. Able to find the open man. Knew it was going to be there all along. And Pittsburgh with their lead. Panthers legend. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Field goal lead, but it could be 1 point more with a clean exchange here. Been a rough day for the long snapper as the point after almost blocked, but it's up and it's good. Pittsburgh goes 10 plays, 69 yards in 4 minutes and 15 seconds to take back their lead. That is our 3rd lead change. And this one we have also had 2 ties and a lot of back and forth football. No team has led by more than a touchdown all game long. What up, Charger fan? YouTube has kind of changed the way they presented their usernames, by the way. So instead of it being what your display name is now, it's what your @ is, what your YouTube tag is. So some of you might have a little bit of a different username than you used to. Although profile pictures are my greatest indicator, as Keaton Mitchell will return the kick and likely stay in here at running back as Lamar Jackson back to work, 75% through the air, 204 yards and a couple of touchdowns. He is going to need even more heroics here, although Henry is in the huddle. So I believe he might be coming back there. Could have just caught a cramp on that last drive. And there you have it, back with his X Factor still activated. Scary sight to see if you're a Pittsburgh fan, as Henry gets the handoff up the middle, breaks the tackle, still on his feet. Derrick Henry with the opening drive pickup of 7. Play number 1 of what could be the final Baltimore drive of the game goes very nicely. This is a huge drive. He looks to be all right, but he will take a breather on 2nd and 3. Jackson off the play action. Pocket breaking down, fires downfield. It's over the head of Bateman, incomplete. Had him if he would have stuck it in there. Well, unfortunately, did not happen. Yeah, Henry has been having a heck of a game. Hard to imagine he won't be on the field here on 3rd and 3. But that would also be easy to imagine because it is John Harbaugh. No Henry in sight. Here we go. 3rd and 3 from the 36-yard line. It's Jackson. Here comes Watt. Lamar down the field. It's caught by Flowers. Through a crowd. Reels it in inside the 40. And the Ravens keep their drive alive. That is just the 2-time MVP doing his thing. Lamar Jackson. Who else is throwing that football? What a snag. No Henry again here in the I formation. Play action again for Jackson. Down the middle again. It's caught by Likely. His first catch of the game. And the Ravens not taking as much time as you would think here. Inside the red zone already. I suppose they do have to score a touchdown. So less worried about the time, more worried about just finding the score at the end of the day. Keaton Mitchell in on 1st and 10. Jackson dancing, steps up, looking to take off, climbing, now fires last second, caught by Zay Flowers again, and I had to make sure he did get that first down. Very close on the spot, but they will rule it 1st and goal inside of 3 minutes. This game is coming down to the wire the way the AFC North should, just like it did back in the AB days. Jackson again, taking this one by himself up the middle, down to the 1-yard line. Touchdown is saved by Alex Highsmith. Right on cue. St. Flowers has made a couple heroic catches in this game. And now Jackson into his X Factor. From the 1-yard line, still no Derrick Henry. Ravens don't have to snap the ball, but they will. Hand off to Mitchell, and Peyton Wilson's on it. It's a loss of 2, and it'll take us to the 2-minute warning in Pittsburgh. 3rd and goal from the 3. Ravens trail by 4. Here we go. Not a terrible sound, not waving. Jackson pumps, steps back, hit as he throws, and it's caught by DeAndre Hopkins for the touchdown. 2 incredible quarterbacks going back and forth. D-Hop with a stop route. Turning back time one more time in Week 18. Making Joey Porter Jr. look silly. What a play. What up, Ty Felton? Love it. 2-time. Missed the 2-time. It did look a little Mahomey, didn't it? However, they left way too much time for one man in particular. As Tyler Loop ready for the point after. It is up and good. A 3-point Raven lead with 1:57 left. Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest 2-minute drill quarterbacks in NFL history, needs a field goal to tie, a touchdown to win with 1:57 and all 3 Pittsburgh Steelers timeouts. Absolute cinema here in the final game of the 2025 regular season. If you haven't liked the stream yet, now is a great time to do so. Entertainment coming down to the final snap as Luke will send the ball back through the air. Good kick return from the 3-yard line. Kelton Johnson with his worst work of the day. Out to the 22. What about Alexander Rose? Rodgers throw a pick on 3rd down. We'll see. Neither team, actually I take that back. We've had a 1 turnover in this game. That was a Lamar Jackson fumble inside the 5-yard line. That came after a really bad snap on a punt, and Corliss Waitman was unable to get the punt away, so each team kind of trading miscues there. All in all, the past cannot be talked about, just the present. Aaron Rodgers, 40 years old, looking to win the AFC North, dumps it down, completes it. Kenneth Gainwell. Stiff arm makes the man miss, and he'll pick up an extra yard or 2 for a total of 6. Clock will tick a little bit here. Don't forget how bad this game is at time management. Hopefully that won't play too big of a factor here, as Pittsburgh does have all their timeouts, and they only need a field goal. See what happens, though. Rodgers going to hand this one off. It is Jalen Warren up the middle. He's a yard short. It's 3rd down. Kind of surprised to see him running the football. But again, the over-reliance on the running game and their tight ends right now because of the absence of DK Metcalf really could be costing them. Headed towards the final minute. As some movement there into the Ravens jump. They did a 3 first down for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Aaron Rodgers heart count. Nothing else like it. And so Pittsburgh can breathe a sigh of relief for the moment. They get a free moving of the chains. Clock is stopped as well at 1:02. Single back formation again. Rodgers going to hand off to Warren. And a timeout taken by Pittsburgh. Yeah, I really don't know what they're doing right now running the football. Simply do not have the time for it. And yet they continue to do so. Looks to me like they're playing for overtime rather than the win right now, which is a little disappointing. How bad is Madden going to screw this one up? We'll see. 3 receivers out there on 2nd and 7. This time it is Rodgers firing to the sideline. The extension from MVS out of bounds at midfield. And right back on time is the Pittsburgh offense. Georgia Broncos, this is the last game I'm doing. I leave tomorrow actually for Florida, so Taking a little bit of time off. We'll be back for the divisional round. Under a minute to go, it's Aaron Rodgers finding his running back, Jalen Warren. That's a first down strike into field goal range. Timeout, Pittsburgh. Boswell getting warmed up on the sideline. And he has been struggling. Special teams has not looked very good. And all things considered, Chris Boswell has a huge chance here. Potentially, if he needs to be called onto the field. Aaron Rodgers, though, 39 yards away from a touchdown. Going to hand off to Gainwell, and he's going to lose yards here. It's a loss of 2. Wow. What are the Steelers going to do here? Please don't use the last timeout. That's all I could ask for. Keep that one tucked away, A-Rod. I wouldn't mind an incompletion here either. From the empty, low snap, it's controlled. Rodgers steps up, fires to his sideline. It's caught, but in bounds. And timeout, Pittsburgh. Oh, boy. This might get botched really bad. For those of you that are newer around here, Madden 26 is about to introduce you a Madden moment. If this clock has issues, they got to get out of bounds here. Truthfully, cannot afford to get taken down in bounds. A sack certainly ends it here. High snap taken by Rodgers. Standing tall, fires it in completion. Out of bounds, and breathe a sigh of relief. We're good. Madden 26, next generation. Here we go. Kind of windy. It's swirling, and Pittsburgh is probably the hardest stadium to kick in, but Boswell is no stranger. Here we go. The AFC North on the line as John Harbaugh going to ice the polar bear. Timeout, Ravens. Here we go. See where he lines up from. Got to have a clean exchange. That is rule number 1 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 2 high snaps. Really bad one on the punt. But here we go. The AFC North on the line. It is a 56-yarder from Boswell. The kick is on the way, and it is good, but a marker. But a flag is down. Roughing the kicker. Did he miss that? I'm trying to see if he missed it. It's good. It is good. They decline the penalty and will take the points. I thought they might accept it and move the football and take a couple end zone shots there. He did make it. Rest assured. They weren't putting the points on the board there. I got a little bit concerned. But with 13 seconds left, we are tied up. Did anybody have any doubts that Chris Boswell can knock that one through? I think it's okay to decline that. I don't think it's a bad choice per se. They certainly had a choice to make, though. Big kick from Boswell and a touchback. With 2 timeouts, the Ravens still have a chance to have a field goal kick of their own, though. 2 plays for sure that could get Tyler Loop into range, needing to get to around the 40-yard line to have a realistic shot of a good kick. And Lamar coming out looking to throw the football. So he is going to give the Ravens a chance here. Final moments of regulation. Lamar with the comeback to DeAndre Hopkins. He'll pick up 11. And a timeout taken by Baltimore. So at the very least, they are within Hail Mary range. And most definitely with that timeout, the entire field wide open to potentially get in to Tyler Loop range. Lamar Jackson against a 3-man rush, lining up with 2 receivers left and right. He is going to drop back to pass. Dancing around the pocket. He's going forward all right now as the clock hits 0. Back of the end zone. It is incomplete. And would you want it any other way? We have overtime in Pittsburgh to decide the AFC North. 27-27. Bonus football at Acrisure Stadium. And the also important coin toss. PQ, Roquan Smith, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson. Ready to figure out who is getting the football when. Ravens calling tails, and it's heads. The Steelers win and will elect to take the football. Pittsburgh to receive, and the Ravens will kick it off to get OT started. Both teams get a guaranteed possession regardless of what happens on the opening possession. A tie, by the way, is very much so in play here. In the event of a tie, I just have to double check this real quick. Got to make sure that I would have this correctly. I believe it would go to the Steelers. Can't rule that possibility out. And it would. Return taken. It is Kelton Johnson out to the 25-yard line. Aaron Rodgers led a huge game-tying drive there. In the 2-minute drill, Chris Boswell from 56 yards with probably the most clutch kick of his life. Able to deliver for Pittsburgh, but will it matter? It'll all be for naught if Pittsburgh cannot claim victory in overtime. Got to have it now. Overtime bingo, here we go. Right around even in the total yardage department. Pittsburgh with the advantage in the turnovers. Rodgers off the bootleg immediately. Caught, coming back for it. Valdez-Scantling. He'll lose a yard on the play. Backwards on the dump off. Got to imagine MVS is probably close to about, I would say, 8 catches for 100 yards. Something close to. Had that long catch on that touchdown drive right before the Ravens went down the field and did the same thing. Jackson has to wait and watch Rodgers go to work now on 2nd and 11. Caught by Freiermuth. Makes one-man miss. And Roquan Smith lowers the boom. Shoulder down on the 6-yard pickup. 3rd and medium. Comes down to a box field goal. We'll see if he ends up making it. They'd still have to play defense regardless, though. Freiermuth in motion. Roquan Smith is following. That signals man-to-man. Rodgers dropping back. Going downfield to the sideline. Knocked away by Marlon Humphrey. Would have been one of the best passes all season into the hands of Calvin Austin, but Marlon Humphrey read it the entire way. Incredible defense there from the veteran corner. And it's 4th and 5. Corliss Waitman will punt it away, hoping for a clean exchange, and he has to get a running start again. And a fair catch called for at the 27-yard line. So, the next score will win the game no matter what it is, no matter who it is, no matter how it happens. Points on the board equals the end of the game. Lamar Jackson trying to give the Baltimore Ravens their 3rd consecutive AFC North title. Something that hasn't happened in this division in quite some time, actually. Ravens trying to make history. They are on the brink of it here with one more good drive from Lamar Jackson. No Derrick Henry to start the drive, no problem. Up the middle, Keaton Mitchell picks up 9. What up, go 49ers? All good, man. You are here at the perfect time. How about overtime? 2nd and a very short yard coming up here for the Ravens. I have to imagine that Henry might have tweaked whatever he had hurt earlier. He has not been on the field since that 4th quarter carry, which he came back from after the injury. Mitchell remains in at running back. Gets the handoff again. T.J. Watt coming back from his absence with a massive tackle for loss. It is 3rd and 4. That is a major miscue from the Ravens offensive line. Probably as loud as it's going to get all evening here in Pittsburgh. 3rd and 4 line to gain right about the 36.5-yard line. Jackson fires left side and wide open. Rashad Bateman. Nobody within 4 yards of him. Easiest first down catch of his life. Ravens drive continues. And Lamar knew exactly who was open the entire time. Steelers getting caught sagging back in coverage. I think Watt's going to play. I'm pretty sure he announced recently. I think he's pretty much good to go for that one. Jackson again going to take this one himself. There goes Lamar Jackson. Got a block from Bateman. Jackson down the sideline. One made the beat, and he's going to take the Ravens all the way to the playoffs. The AFC North belongs to Baltimore. Lamar Jackson, 59-yard touchdown. And the 2-time MVP reinstates his kingdom in the division. electric, to say the least. Cost him a touchdown earlier with a fumble in regulation, and he comes back and delivers in overtime. The Ravens win the AFC North, and they win the game 33-27 in Pittsburgh. What a game. Electric. And I appreciate each and every one of you for sticking around with me through some incredible couple of days here. We had two really, really good games and one blowout, which is fair enough, but Madden clock management actually wasn't too bad there. So, hey, much appreciating to all of you who joined me today. Back for the divisional round games here in about a week and a half. Should be 4 back-to-back streams on Tuesday through Friday. So, hope to see you guys there. Appreciate you tuning in, and we will see you soon. Later, guys.